Hello, ladies and gentlemen. In one moment. Alright. So, over the weekend, I was at a comic shop, or a comic book store. And now look, I'm not really a Marvel fan, I'm not into DC, I'm not really into, Wolverine and all that. I'm just not. I think it's cool. I always liked the Hulk, the big green guy, and I like Venom and such, but besides that, I was never really a Marvel, DC, superheroes kind of guy. I played the games, but. However, I remember from my childhood, there was one Pacific Marvel's comic that I had from like 9, 10 years old, maybe around 12 if most. And I had it, but originally, my original one, it was in a book kind of shelf thingy. And let me tell you, the bookshelf never was organized and clean. There's books that are all over the place, you know? So I was like, well, book, book eventually got destroyed. The pages that were connected to the binder, or the cover art, or whatever I guess you want to say, fully came attached. The like pieces of the paper, like the of the comic, like each, you know what I mean, each page and stuff. Some are like becoming ripped. Some were it was just trashed, you know. So eventually, it it got thrown out. Bye bye. And many years later, I've been wanting to get the Pacific comic once again. But you know what? My thing is, I wanted to get the full trilogy. I know for the specific comic, they made like issue 1, chapter 2, you know? And this specific comic started in 1977. And there's maybe like 10 pages, like chapter 1, chapter 2. But I wanted to get the full length series because that's what I had originally. And honestly, the full length series that I am talking about is no other than Marvel Godzilla, the original Marvel years. Now, I know that this is exactly the one that I had as a kid. The exactly one with all of the chapters, every single chapter that they did. You know? But yeah, I always wanted to get this back just as my collection piece. I was reading a little bit of it, and I will say, a little bit of a spoil. I'm not going to get into much spoilers, though. But I will say, I like the fact that the monsters that they had Godzilla face are totally new ideas. Now I get it, they didn't really have the license, they just had the license for Godzilla, but still, they could have made copy-offs, they could have made monsters that are very, very similar to majority of the Toho kaiju or monsters, but they didn't. In my opinion, they made almost, if not, brand new ideas. And I think that was very creative how they did that for this type of comic, you know? But yeah, this is it. This is the one. Now I do know they ended up doing different cover arts. Like there's one where Godzilla's on the bridge. There's one where he's facing one of the monsters. But I didn't give a crap about any of the other comic book cover art releases or whatever. I didn't. This is the one that I wanted to get with this cover art because this is the one I had back as a kid. But yeah, and it's very nostalgia. It's very nostalgia to me. I know it's a U.S. Godzilla. It's not a Japanese Godzilla, but honestly, this is honestly way closer. Like if you read this is way closer to Godzilla than the 1998 Godzilla, if that makes any sense. Like in this comic, this is way more closer to how Godzilla actually is. He's not a pussy. He doesn't die by bullets. I will say that there is a good ending. I'm not gonna talk about the ending, but he doesn't get shot up by bullets and he doesn't get hurt by bullets and shit. You know what I mean? This Godzilla is a tough son of a bitch, and that's how Godzilla is supposed to be. So that's another reason why I like this comic. Another thing as well, not just besides of all the, good ideas and crazy ideas that they did for the comic issue and all the chapters, but the story, the beginning story of this comic, I guess person that was writing it or publishing it or something read the original, just normal comic series, not the whole entire first version book. Not, just he read some of the chapters, and at first he didn't really like it, but then as he was getting into more of reading it, he started to love it. And that's something that I thought that was cool. But so in my opinion, if you're a Marvel's fan and you have not read at least one of these 24 chapters, please do. And if you're a Godzilla fan and you think, oh, this is going to be like the 1998 Godzilla, aka Zilla, no. This Godzilla, in my opinion, is really like Godzilla, but just a US Godzilla, if that makes any sense. For this comic issue, this Godzilla is very much like Godzilla. And the funny thing is, heck, even though it's just a comic, back when these comics did came out from, let's see, there's years, let's see. Or maybe it's inside the comic, because it does say the years that these came out. Hold on, let me open it up real quick, because there is years, and whatnot. Let me flip these over, put that like that, yes. So let's see, there's years, let's see. Yep, the first one was from 1977, and the very last comic that came out, which was 24, was 1979. That's crazy to me that they can have, Godzilla be Godzilla in 1977, but when that shitty film, and I will say it was a shitty film in my opinion, they couldn't even do Godzilla right. In my opinion, that's just hilarious. But as check this out if you haven't. It's a great comic issue. I always wanted this back, not just as a nostalgia piece, but as a collection piece too. Like, this is a really, really good comic issue. And in my opinion, if you're a die-hard fan and you're really, really into comics, then go ahead. But if you would like to read all of the issues, in my humble opinion, just get this. Why spend money on eBay? Why spend money on eBay for most of these? Because most of these are like 15 to, I think, $30 each for most of these comics, and that's just one. When you could pay $80 to $100 and get the whole series right into one thing. And I get it, it's newer, it's not vintage, it's not old, but who gives a shit, I don't, me as a die-hard fan, one of these days I probably am gonna get one of the original comic issues, at least one, but until then, I'm very happy having this, a really great piece, something that I admire a lot. I read a lot of this too already. But, yeah, so, like, comment, subscribe. I know this was kind of a long video, but, yeah, definitely worth checking out.